Hey, this is Libby spilling all the political tea, straight politics, no chaser. You know the go-to for all your political needs. Think the Bodega Boys, but political. It's millennial politics served piping hot. Okay, I know. It has been a very, very long time since I've last recorded. I know folks are probably saying, and she disappeared when we needed her most, like Wendy Williams. I know. It's election season. This should be my time to shine. But life be lifing. But I'm back. And of course, I am indeed better. But politics isn't. So much has occurred since my last episode on August 12th. Oh, so much. And I am here to recap it all because I haven't missed a beat, unfortunately. So here we go. Let's get into it. 2 months ago, the DNC ended without a hitch. It was indeed everything we needed and more as a party and country. You know, the DNC puts a great horse and pony show every 4 years, and that was most certainly what it was. Wasn't it perfect? No. Didn't it get as close to perfect as possible? Hell yes. The Vanguards really showed out with this one. Not like it was hard to beat the RNC at anything, but everything from the ordering of speakers to having real everyday people speak was truly everything. And let's not even get into the budget because the DNC indeed has money. I wonder what the budget was. So, this episode, I am giving a play by play of the DNC, just like I did with the RNC. 4 nights of magic on full display for the world to see, and it was exactly what the doctor called for. And here we go. Now, I am going to be honest and say that I did not watch night 1 and 2 live, as I was still disgusted by the treacherous actions of party vanguards to get my president out of the race, so I was over it. But I went back and watched night 1 and 2 because Biden and Hillary's speeches. Please note, Biden has spoken at every DNC since 1976. That's a public servant of the people. It seemed like the DNC was paying homage and respect to the heart of the party, Biden and Hillary, for the first night. Then it smoothly transitioned into the party's future with Kamala. Perfect. Well done. Night 1, Hillary and Biden gave riveting speeches, per usual. Old and decrepit where? Both speeches gutted me. Both are two of the most deserving people and loyal people in the Democratic Party, and both have been disrespected more than any other two political candidates in history. So it was befitting that they opened. I guess the DNC wanted to reconcile with the past early on in the program so they can focus on the future. I'm not getting too specific into the speeches because, frankly, it took me a month to watch them. And when I finally did watch them, I cried through both of them. So go watch it yourself on YouTube. But one thing I will quote Hillary on is her DNC opening. She said, and I quote, "First, though, let's salute President Biden. He's been democracy's champion at home and abroad. He brought dignity, decency, and confidence back to the White House, and he showed what it means to be a true patriot. Thank you, Joe Biden, for your lifetime of service and leadership." End quote. The Clintons are always 10 toes down. That's all I'm going to say about that. And with that being said, here is a tweet. What happened to President Biden is an indictment against America for how we disrespect and throw away our elders. End tweet. Well, couldn't have said that better. And one more Hillary quote because she is everything and the whole reason I breathe. She ended her DNC speech with, and I quote, "I want my grandchildren and their grandchildren to know I was here at this moment, that we were here and that we were with Kamala Harris every step of the way. This is our time, America. This is when we stand up. This is when we break through. The future is here. It's in our grasp. Let's go win it." End quote. Enough said. Go vote. On night 2, though, Obama spoke, and per usual, they killed it, especially Michelle Obama. She hates giving these political speeches, but she does them oh so well. Michelle gives you politics as is, whereas Hillary gives you politics in theory, how it should be and how it could be. So seeing both point of views of first ladies is truly remarkable. Michelle's mother also recently died, so she expressed that grieving made her not want to do the speech, but I am also happy that she did. Between Forever Flotus defining what a black job is and stating who's going to tell Trump the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs, child, end quote. And Barack hand gesturing that Trump's crowd sizes are actually smaller than what is touted. The Obamas definitely both clocked in on their black jobs and told the country what it is and what it ain't. With this election, I hope y'all heeded their message. Old girl from the south side of Chicago also said, "We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth." End quote. The same generational wealth folks' ancestors got from stealing, raping, pillaging, philandering, and human trafficking. Never forget that. Sidebar. Someone tweeted, Michelle doing all she can to make sure Melania doesn't plagiarize this speech. And tweet, she definitely can't steal that one. And now there is a song with Michelle Obama's quote, and I love it. Oh my God, it's iconic. And called One of Those Black Jobs. Go find that on YouTube too. It is a bop. Like My President is Black was a bop. While we're at it, I think it's time for us to circle back on that song. Somebody call Young Jeezy. We need that back. Then Barack said, I've noticed since it's become popular that they don't call it Obamacare anymore. End quote. And I fell out. OBZ got jokes. he got jokes. Sidebar. Speaking of Obamacare, someone tweeted, we don't talk enough about how the Democrats have only had a filibuster-proof majority for 5 months and 12 days since 1977. And during that time, they literally passed the Affordable Care Act. Please note, it has been 15 years since Obamacare was passed and over 50 million people have enrolled. Democrats get the job done. Oh, and thank Biden for that too, since he was vice president when Obamacare passed. And remember the last episode, I was too peed with Barack? So he really redeemed himself with this one. Like a whole sitting former president made a dick joke. Bruh, how many presidents make dick jokes in front of the whole world? Only one. And because there is always a tweet, here's another. To be young enough to watch America's first black president speak at the DNC and endorse a black woman who could become the nation's first woman president on the 405th anniversary of the first enslaved Africans' arrival in America is heavy, inspiring, and reflective. End tweet. I couldn't have said it better. Super profound. Sidebar. Well, apparently Barack is keeping this energy because, baby, he clocked in again on America's asses at a rally, and specifically some men, and even more specifically, some men of a certain hue, similar to his, that do not want to vote for a woman with a similar hue to them as president. And baby, it was exactly the Barack I was waiting for. Campaign Barack will forever and always be my favorite Barack. Barack did a campaign stop for Kamala in Pittsburgh, and honey, he did not disappoint. Now, I will say, I wished he used his bully pulpit a little bit sooner, but damn, when he finally does clock in, look at the material. I'm glad because I was so tired of private citizen Barack. Like, this feels like 08 Barack. Everyone kept saying Kamala's campaign feels like 08. No, doesn't. This feels like 08. Campaign Barack is the best Barack. He clocked the fuck in. I waited all summer for this Barack. Y'all know I was furious to see my Biden be railroaded and was pissed that it seemed like folks just let it happen. But this speech is totally redeemable. He said exactly what needed to be said in a way that only he could say it. And that is why he got elected twice. Hello. I'll give y'all a quote from the event. Some think I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good because it was my economy. It wasn't something he did. I spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me. End quote. Well, there were no lies told. Barack also said he remembered buying diapers, and Trump probably never changed a diaper. And a supporter said his own. And Obama said, and I quote, I almost said that, but I decided I should not say it. End quote. I like this Obama a lot. Just gonna say, campaign Barack for the win. You know who also clocked in recently to their white job? Liz Cheney. Who would have thunk it? She did a campaign trail stop in the bitch place. I mean, birthplace, bruh. When I wrote this, I actually had a Freudian slip and wrote bitch place by accident, and I kept it because I don't give a fuck. Call me Dark Olivia. Y'all know when Olivia Pope killed the vice president, for all the scandal lovers out there. Well, even those that live our lives in the light and wear white hats have to dabble in the dark feminine energy at some point, but I digress. So, old girl gave a speech in the birthplace of the GOP, which I didn't know is Wyoming of all places. Shocking, but not really. In the speech, she ate up the Republicans. Go watch. But the best commentary regarding this was from Biden. He said, and I quote, she made one of the most consequential speeches I've ever heard. She has character, Biden said at Joint Base Andrews. I know her dad and her dad as well. We argued like hell, but I've always admired her courage and honesty. What she did took not only political courage, but physical courage. Physical courage. Biden stated, I've never been so proud. I really am, really incredibly proud of her. Please note, both Liz and her father, former Vice President Dick Cheney, have endorsed the Harris-Walz ticket. Hell has officially frozen the fuck over. Now here is the quote from Dick Cheney. In our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters have rejected him. He can never be trusted with power again. As citizens, we each have a duty to put country above partisanship to defend our Constitution. That is why I'll be casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. End quote. Damn. That was scathing, especially since his former boss, former President Bush, is quiet as a church mouse, child. Now back to the DNC. Night 3, I felt all the feels. I was all in. All the clips and memes and tweets made me actually excited to watch. And Bill Clinton speaking was the icing on the cake. Y'all know I love Bill Clinton. He is my favorite president of all time. So watching his political pontification, because y'all know Bill long-winded, was excellent. I love the elderly and their lengthy stories, and Bill always gives a good one, honey. Go watch that on YouTube, especially since it may very well be his last DNC speech. I doubt it. I hope not, but hey, you never know. Night 4. By night 4, I was all in, and I'm so happy I did watch because Vice President Harris gave you a speech only a black woman could give you, honey. She gave America the black mom speech America has needed for a few centuries now, child. Go watch that. At some point, her great nieces even came out to demonstrate how to correctly pronounce their auntie's name. Kamala, like comma. Sidebar, someone tweeted, so when they mispronounce Kamala, don't try to correct them. You yield the floor to their discourse. Just say, I see that's difficult for you. Perhaps Madam President will be easier for your skill set. End tweet. Oop. There were several other notable speakers during the convention. Unfortunately, AOC spoke, and some even think the speech means she is a reformed squad member. I doubt it. And for the record, I refuse to watch her bullshit speech. Do something for your constituents in the Bronx and Queens. Oh, wait, you can't. Aren't you planning an elaborate wedding? Another year and another taxpayer dollar wasted on her salary. Yay. Anyways, whew, the DNC was so good, it left everybody missing it on Friday night. Like Friday night lacked luster without the DNC. Now that is how you know production was good. Well done. I want to know who planned it. It couldn't be Jamie, could it? If so, I am impressed. And he wasn't my first choice for DNC chair, as some of you may know. From the roll call with DJ Cassidy, and I tuned in right in the nick of time when New York was called. It was divine timing, darling. And they played Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z while our elitist governor introduced the greatest state in the union, baby, the great state of New York. I love it. But of course, Georgia won when they brought out Little John to his song Turned Down for What? Super iconic. Please note, 1.13 million Georgians have now voted as of last weekend. Then, of course, we had my favorite part, the balloon drop. I love a good balloon drop. Needless to say, the DNC beat the RNC in the head. That is how a major party has the convention. Well done, Dems. It just kills me, though, because this DNC was supposed to be Biden's DNC. Remember, because of COVID, Biden never got to have his convention, a convention led and curated by the nominee when he was the nominee or when he was president. So I think it is bullshit that he never had a DNC just for himself. They tried to rectify it by having him open the DNC and dedicating the first night to his political career and legacy, but I'm still mad that he didn't get it at previous conventions and that he basically didn't get his just desserts. It's not fair, period. Biden deserved a lot more than a crowd cheering, "Thank you, Joe." Like, shut the fuck up. And to be even more clear, this DNC was supposed to be Hillary's DNC. So you know I'm big mad if you want to get really into it. But I digress. People were like the convention was reminiscent of 2008 and gave closure to 2016. People, please stop with this shit. No convention will ever be like Obama's in 2008, and nothing will ever quell the hurt and dismay of 2016. Shit. Real Hillary fans are still mad she lost in 2008. And I'm still mad Gore lost to a warmonger in 2000. They should have brought him out on night 1 too, since we taking trips down memory lane. Put simply, the excitement surrounding Obama's campaign and subsequent election was an enigma. That will never, ever, ever happen again. Let it go. On a bright note, VP Harris appeared unexpectedly every night of the event. And I love that. Y'all said she was hiding and y'all haven't seen her since the We Did It Joe clip. Well, now you see her. Happy now? NAACP tweeted it best. For Black women, this moment has been a long time coming. End tweet. Damn right. If anyone should run this country after centuries of white men, it should be a Black woman, don't you think? The DNC also did a great job of bringing out the parents of the Uvalde victims. Lord, when the woman said she had no child to reach out to and never will again, honey, I bursted into tears. This country is evil, and its citizens are worse. We have a white male terrorist problem in this country, and it needs to be addressed. Kids shouldn't die because you're a loser incel that can't get laid and that nobody likes. Sucks to be you. Go to therapy and blame your parents. Then turn the gun on them. They are the reason for 100% of your problems. You see what the Menendez brothers did? I hate to go there, but it's culturally relevant right now. They didn't kill any kids in school. They killed their ops. Justice for them. Fuck these parents. Y'all birth and raise demons, then release said demons into the custody of society for the rest of the world to deal with. That's not acceptable. I think more folks going to start killing their parents, and I'm here for it. If there ever is a purge, the egg donor will definitely see me with no ski mask at her door. I want her to know it was me. She is the bane of my existence. She is responsible for 100% of my problems. So she would be numero uno on my blacklist, not some preschoolers. But that's the difference between good and evil. And these white men are the latter. Side note, free the Menendez brothers. I hope Kim Kardashian work her magic and get them boys out. It's been 30 years. Let them out. Anybody that shoot their mama in the face probably had a reason. If 1% of what they said was going on in that house is true, them parents deserve what they got. Freedom boys. Another side note, speaking of school shootings, first graders who survived Sandy Hook will now vote in their first presidential election. Look how time flies. Another sidebar. Speaking of terroristic Wonder Bread people, a 36-year-old woman from Maryland was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison for a white supremacist plot to destroy electrical facilities in Baltimore. Now, I implore y'all to go watch all those new docs on white women's role in the rape and further subjugation of male slaves during slavery, the KKK, and the insurrection on January 6th. They have and will always be the problem. Becky, check your sister in before the election because we all know what y'all did in 2016 to Hillary. And black women will never ever forget it. Another sidebar, the polls as of September 24th further enlightens us about the thoughts of Becky's. And while you guessed it, white women are split, 50% Trump and 47% Harris. They will always vote for their race and privilege. Never forget that. And that is why there's no coalition building with these chicks. I will never, ever march with them ever again. They prove time and time again they can't be trusted. And word on the street is, white men don't trust them either. Now sip that tea. And because there is always a tweet, someone wrote, and whiteness is a hell of a drug. And tweet. Ain't it? Another gut-wrenching moment during the DNC was Tim Walz's son crying during his DNC speech. And he pointed at his dad and said, "That's my dad. Honey, I lost it." Oh my God. Then Republicans tried to crucify this boy for being proud of his dad because he's disabled. And that's evil. Y'all all going to hell. I hope y'all noticed. And then Ann Coulter tweeted that Tim's 17-year-old son breaking down at the DNC was weird. And Dark Daddy Tim clocked in on her ass and tweeted, "Talk about why your fiancés keep leaving you," with a picture of Ann's Wikipedia page that states, and I quote, "Coulter has been engaged several times, but she has never been married and has no children." And I hope that tweet was real. That might have not been a real tweet. Let me go back and check. But I hope it was. Well, doesn't that make her the cat lady Republicans have discussed lately? See why you leave folks' kids alone? I thought kids were off the table when it came to bearing Trump. Exactly. Needless to say, the DNC has a lot of heartwarming moments like the Exonerated Five, formerly known as the Central Park Five, speaking at the convention. Yeah, the DNC went there, and I'm glad they did. NYC City Council member and Exonerated Five member Usef Salam said during the DNC speech, "Donald Trump wanted us dead. He has never changed and he never will." End quote. Woo! A message, a word. Oh, and the Exonerated Five are currently suing Trump for $83.3 million for falsely stating that they pleaded guilty to a crime during the September 10th debate on ABC News. Good. Go get your money. Especially since he took out a full-page ad against y'all in the 80s. The DNC also did an excellent job of beating Project 2025 over everyone's head and ensuring we all know who wrote and endorsed that bullshit. The Republicans, excellent job. That should win Democrats the election all by itself, but folks are stupid. And that goes back to whom they mama and they pappy. See how I did that there? See how we came full circle on why folks need birth control, abortions, and sex education? It would really solve all America's problems. America with 3 Ks. I am a firm believer in formal child planning and rearing. So don't get me started. Think about it. 90% of folks wasn't supposed to be here. Oh shit. Here I go. A lot of folks were oops babies, and it shows. Never think it doesn't show that your parents didn't plan you, because it does. And everything you do, say, etc. You are most certainly a reflection of your parents' piss poor decisions. Don't ever let me be your president, because tubal ligation, vasectomies, IQ tests, genetic tests, child parenting classes, psych evals, and of course, a review of your bank statements will be mandatory for folks to conceive, amongst other things. But I digress. Please note that the former vice president did not speak at the RNC, nor did the former first lady, former second lady, former Republican President Bush, nor did the former chief of staff. But Hulk Hogan spoke. Very telling. Even more telling, the DNC had 21% higher ratings than the RNC did on their first night, with 20 million viewers watching the DNC on night one alone. Meanwhile, a lot of Republicans that worked for Trump spoke at the DNC, warning folks not to re-elect Trump. Enough said. Sidebar, Mitt Romney announced that he will not be voting for Donald Trump. Another sidebar, Hulk Hogan apparently threatened to body slam Kamala if he had the chance and mocked her Indian heritage. And now his biopic that has been in the works since 2019, starring Chris Hemsworth, has now been canceled. So basically, he fucked around and found out. Congratulations. And did y'all see Kamala in that tan suit? Yeah, that wasn't a coincidence. Circa Hillary in the pantsuit and Jackie O wearing a pillbox hat, or Melania wearing a jacket that stated, "I really don't care, do you?" And yes, I have to throw that declasse tidbit in there for a little razzle dazzle. Now, someone tweeted, the DNC makes the RNC look like a Klan rally. And someone else quote tweeted with a picture of Pauly D from Jersey Shore screaming, "Because it is," and tweet. No notes. Please note, while the DNC was filled to capacity simultaneously, another place was also packed to capacity, and that was the arena the RNC had their convention in. But this time, it was for Dems waiting to see Kamala. Irony. Then, in a random turn of events, we find out Kamala ate chips the night Hillary lost and wouldn't share them with anyone. Child, I understand. That shit was doomsday in real time. So, I concur. Fun fact, did you know Vice President Kamala will be the first president in history with experience in all three branches of government? For those that didn't watch the I Am a Bill video in your formative years, this is judicial, legislative, and executive. So for those that say she isn't qualified, where your pappy wasn't qualified to be with your mama, yet here you are, alive and well, unfortunately. Sip that tea. And yes, I'm a cunty ass bitch today. I will always give it to you straight. Straight talk, no chaser. If you don't like it, you know what to do. Now, I will quickly touch on the presidential debate because I only watched for a few minutes. My brain capacity for bullshit is very low these days. Kamala swept Vance, and this tweet explains it perfectly. This wasn't a debate. This was a declaration of leadership, end tweet. And did you see Kamala do that show of dominance and respect by making Trump shake her hand? And the follow-up to that was on 9/11 at an event when they shook hands and he tried to pull her hand in and she jerked it back and Biden and Bloomberg started laughing. I love Black women. Please note, 71% of the donation to Kamala's campaign during the debate were from women. She also raised $7 million in 30 minutes. Let's get into it. Even Joe Rogan said Kamala killed it. Pigs are flying and telling the truth. Who would have thunk it? D.L. Hughley tweeted, that wasn't a debate, that was elder abuse. End tweet. And that is why Trump declined to debate Kamala again. Shocker. Wait. Apparently, Tulsi did the debate prep for Trump. Bruh. The person that desperately needed debate prep when she ran for office in 2020 gave debate prep to Trump. I cannot. Hillary said it best. They are a basket of deplorables. And she was being nice. Even Fox News watchers said Kamala won the debate. Enough said. Go watch it. Another sidebar. Trump also got heckled by New Yorkers at the 9/11 event. One New Yorker asked, where were you for 20 years? Well, we know where Hillary was. She was getting funding from Congress for FDNY and EMS workers because they denied Giuliani when he asked. Yeah, y'all forgot about that fact. Wait. It gets better. Someone tweeted, he showed up to this debate and said they're executing babies after birth. And also they're eating pets. That's what he said. A guy running for president said that. Well, that eating pet statement has caused a lot of problems, like everything Trump says. Remember his rhetoric on January 6th caused an insurrection? And because of that, for the first time ever, the 2025 electoral votes certification at the U.S. Capitol is now declared a national special security event scheduled for January 6, 2025. Oh, and if Harris wins, she will be the one certifying her own victory. Clock that tea. Now the tea shall be spilled because the last few weeks are the wildest shit I have witnessed in political history. So here we go. Eric Criminal Adams, the insidious and criminally innate mayor of NYC, who should have never been elected, but these idiots did ranked choice voting for the mayoral ballot. And here we are. I will say this for the record. I voted for Wiley. She was overqualified to be mayor. Please, for the love of God, don't ever elect a cop to be mayor of the city ever the fuck again. And somebody please convince Wiley to run again. She was strategically robbed. Anyways, back to criminal number one. Adams was indicted. Happy Indictment Day for those that celebrate it. Adams is accused of a host of things, typical NYC mayor shit. Basically, everything from accepting illegal travel benefits to and from Turkey on business class to soliciting and accepting illegal campaign contributions. Well, didn't know NYC and Turkey had such great relations. Lock his monkey ass the fuck up. I don't need nor want to know more. And apparently more charges for him are coming. I cannot. Put him under the jail. Then someone tweeted, because there is always a tweet, if the FBI can indict Eric Adams for taking money from Turkey, can't they indict Jared Kushner for taking $100 million from the Saudis? End quote. Questions that need answers. In more idiot NYC mayor news, Eric Adams was indicted the same day former NYC Mayor Rudy Giuliani was officially disbarred. Wow, there is a God. September 25th should be an NYC holiday. Do you know how criminally innate you have to be to get disbarred in New York, of all places? You really have to be on demon time. There are whole rapists and child molesters barred, not only here, but everywhere. Think about that. Job well done, New York. An insurrectionist should never be allowed to practice law. And frankly, a mofo that marries his cousin shouldn't be barred anyways. Clearly, his judgment is piss poor. Sip that tea. Oh, and a Fed judge has ordered Giuliani to turn over all his valuable possessions and his Manhattan penthouse to the two black election workers he defamed and now owes $150 million to. My question is, how the fuck did he afford a $150 million penthouse in New York City? In journalism, we have a rule: follow the money. In this case, follow the money. It will probably lead you back to Putin and Trump. I digress. Actually, that was on target. That was right on point. Look, the New York criminals are criminaling, baby. So I don't know if y'all heard, but Trump was trumping and said some Trump shit. Now about the one group folks should leave alone: the Haitian community. Leave these people alone. France owes Haiti $21 billion. I would leave a people alone that is owed $21 billion. That's why I said leave Black Americans alone, because America owes us $1.13 trillion. Y'all better leave Black people alone and find something better to do. Criminal charges have been filed against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance for endangering lives in Springfield, Ohio. The Haitian Bridge Alliance is asking the Clark County Municipal Court to issue arrest warrants for both men. Basically, they fucked around and found out. The end. Vance also has another issue. He has the worst approval rating of all the candidates, while Waltz has the highest. Sip that tea. Lastly, former U.S. Rep. George Santos also pled guilty in August to wire fraud and identity theft. Didn't I say the New York criminals were criminaling, honey? So, allegedly, RFK is entangled, child. A New York... Oh, this tea is piping hot. You ready? A New York Magazine correspondent, Olivia Newsy, damn, why she had to have my name, claimed that she, and I quote, engaged in a personal relationship with someone relevant to the 2024 presidential campaign, end quote. while using her platform to bash Biden for being old. New York Magazine then placed her on leave. Apparently, the person she had a personal relationship with is RFK Jr., and her fiance found out 2 days before the DNC and broke up with her. The breakup got nasty because men are sassy these days and can't go away quietly after getting cheated on like they used to, and he allegedly informed her employer of the conflict of interest. Thus, Olivia sued him for a protective order because he is now allegedly blackmailing her, harassing her, stalking her, and using the press to humiliate her. Child. Olivia told her fiance damn near everything about the relationship with RFK Jr., and according to the Daily Beast, the 1 year affair was toxic, unhealthy, stupid, psychotic, crazy, indefensible relationship with a 70-year-old sex addict who told her he wanted to possess, control, and impregnate her. Her ex-fiance is claiming that Olivia is harassing him and using the courts to do so with the protective order. Olivia claims he stole personal information off one of her devices, hence how he knows so much, and that he is lying about certain things. Her ex-fiance also claims, and I quote, "She told me that there was a huge power disparity between them and that he manipulated her." Child. Now they're in a DC court. Olivia, girl, you in danger. You needed that protective order and a gag order too before all this came out. But it's too late now. You should have never told him all those details about the affair if you did. And if he is lying, you should have hit him with those orders or an NDA ASAP. Now that ship has sailed, honey. Olivia claims the relationship with RFK Jr. was not physical but digital, allegedly sexting. However, her ex-fiance stated that his efforts to help or protect Olivia from the Kennedy dalliance. He advised her to remove reporting material she had received from Kennedy for an article she had drafted for New York Magazine, which is a conflict of interest, and all good journalists know that. Child, the tea is piping hot. So let me get this straight. RFK Jr. had an emotional virtual affair with a reporter for New York Mag that is engaged to another political reporter, and said reporter blows it up. Now we find out that the RFK Jr. is allegedly a serial philanderer, shocker, and cheated on his wife with 3 more women in the past 12 months, all tied to his anti-vaccine organization. A spokesperson for Kennedy said the claims for these 3 women are untrue, and people close to Kennedy also said that Olivia pursued him aggressively. But page 6 is saying RFK Jr. and Olivia had steamy FaceTime sessions and that RFK love bombed Olivia like he did with the other 3 women. Well, apparently, RFK Jr.'s wife is about to clock out, and she is tired of his bullshit. According to sources close to her, the 2 have been married for 10 years, and their relationship began when he was still married to his ex-wife. Well, you lose them how you get them. According to the Seattle Times, a friend said, and I quote, "Cheryl was always very aware that Bobby had a long history of womanizing." Well, the whole world knew that. Well, did they get married in Cali? Or are they domiciled in Cali? Because 10 years of marriage, she can cash out, right? The friend continued by stating, and I quote, "However, she firmly believed Bobby in his 7th decade and with political aspirations finally had his sex demons under control." The friend continued. Apparently not. These men, 70 don't stop these men. That's why we got to take Viagra away, because 70 don't stop these men. Don't get me started. I can tell you a story right now about a 80-something-year-old man, 90-something-year-old man that had a baby. I can tell you. Don't get me started. Now folks are saying all the speculation and drama will cause issues with RFK trying to be part of Trump's campaign and administration. The concern is that more women will come out about affairs with him. Well, let's hope Trump loses, so RFK's aspirations won't be hindered due to his own alleged womanizing ways. Because even if Trump doesn't want to be a hypocrite and allows RFK into his administration, a top Republican political operative told Media T, and I quote, "Affairs cannot get a security clearance at higher level government appointment jobs because they can be used as blackmail," end quote. See why philanderers cannot be in C-suite and other prestigious jobs? Because y'all are a liability. Y'all lack dominion and self-control over yourselves. If you aren't loyal to your most important business partner, your spouse, how can a company trust you to lead and be loyal to them? Exactly, they can't, especially in RFK's case, because his first two marriages ended due to infidelity. But the couple was seen at Ethel Kennedy's funeral together and displayed some PDA at another event they attended recently. His wife is also still wearing her wedding ring. Well, now we know why Ethel croaked so suddenly, child. These kids will kill you. And it just kills me because RFK is going through all this and a failed run for president, and then allegedly begged Kamala for a meeting to request a seat in her cabinet and got denied that meeting. And then he turned around, dropped out of the campaign, and endorsed Trump. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, five of his siblings, Kathleen, Courtney, Carrie, Chris, and Rory, issued a statement on their brother endorsing Trump, and it went a little something like this. And I quote, "We want an America filled with hope and bound together by a shared vision of a brighter future. A future defined by individual freedom, economic promise, and national pride. We believe in Harris and Waltz. Our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear. It is a sad ending to a sad story." End quote. Needless to say, RFK Jr. needs to worry where he will be eating Thanksgiving dinner, because it won't be at Hyannis Point with the Kennedys, and it damn sure won't be at his house because his wife is allegedly, apparently, filing for divorce due to his philandering. Nick's tape on his marriage, run for office, familial ties, and his reputation. I would say his career too, but Americans vote stupidly, and Trump just named him and Tulsi as co-chairs of his transition team. I cannot. Frankly, the whole thing is embarrassing, because since when do the Kennedys beg the Democratic Party for shit? Nevertheless, the Republican Party. Lord, please don't let my descendants forsake me or my legacy like this, because I will crash out all the way from hell. I know Papa Kennedy rolling in his grave. Imagine being the son of Irish immigrants and single-handedly and strategically propelling your family to be American royalty. And 3 generations later, one of your grandkids does this shit. I'd haunt him from my seat on Satan's lap. I really would. Then, to add insult to injury, his sister Carrie Kennedy doubled down on her statement live on MSNBC and further stated, "I am outraged and disgusted by my brother's obscene embrace of Donald Trump. I completely disavow and disassociate myself from Robert Kennedy Jr. and his flagrant efforts to desecrate, trample, and set fire to my father's memory." End quote. Well, damn. Well, I'm glad I never had to disavow my brother. I have damn near disavowed my whole family, but never ever my brother. My own brother? That's nasty work. And someone on Twitter stated, RFK Jr. endorsing Trump is like E. coli endorsing diarrhea. My question is, if RFK Jr. endorsed Trump in turn for him dropping out of the race, isn't that quid pro quo? Isn't that what folks be going to jail for? Questions that need answers. RFK also wants to be off the ballot in 10 battleground states since he no longer is running for the presidency, but some states have denied it as their ballots have already been sent out. I know I just received mine. This throws a monkey wrench in RFK and Trump's plan to thwart the election. Good. The Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to a Japanese organization of atomic bomb survivors, as it should be. Next year, it should be given to President Biden for saving the soul of this nation. And simultaneously, he needs to release a book called How I Saved the Soul of This Nation, so he can retain the wealth he forewent for decades by being your faithful public servant instead of a prominent, wealthy attorney. Biden was also awarded in high honor in Germany last week that is rarely given to foreign leaders.
Damn shame. The whole globe respects him but his own country. Now, this is my favorite part of the episode, which I call BFFR, like make it make sense. I think it's self-explanatory. The idiots at CBS held a debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, and they originally announced that they would not fact check live on air, apparently. They said it is the job of the candidates to fact check each other. Journalism is lost. I used to respect them and CNN, and now I can't. Whole imbecile Republican operatives working in their offices and running programming. Then last minute, they decided to fact check real time because they received and should have expected the backlash. Needless to say, please spare me the bullshit. Bye. Incompetent asses. The debate also, as expected, was easy peasy for Tim. He did great. I watched the first 20 minutes and I saw enough. Some folks say Tim didn't do well, and those are the same folks that said Biden should drop out of the race while America has the best economy in the world because of him. Those folks are idiots. This is exactly why CNN is instituting a $3.99 paywall to fund their bullshit, because no one is buying it, pun intended. Oh, and Tim's favorability went up 13 points post-debate, per CNN. Someone tweeted, Tim Walz is the guy who asks if you need help with the creepy dude at the bar. J.D. Vance is the creepy dude at the bar. End tweet. Someone else on Twitter said it best. J.D. Vance wants 10-year-olds to have babies. Tim Walz wants 10-year-olds to have lunch. See the difference? End tweet. They are not the same. J.D. Vance and Trump are not like us. I'm not a Kendrick fan at all, but Kamala is from Cali. She needs to walk out to that song at one of her rallies. Come on, campaign folks. Get jiggy with it. Next subject. Y'all heard the news regarding this idiot coon, Mark Robinson? Bruh, the tea is scorching hot for this. So take the tea bag and spoon out and gently blow on the tea. You done? Good. Now buckle up because this mofo is nuts. And I'm going to read the entire article by CBS 17 reporter Emily Mickelson. So here we go. Because it's just too much for me to try to paraphrase this bullshit. Fuck it. Let the news tell you what it is. Okay. So the article is called A Breakdown of Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's History Amid Bombshell CNN Report. Cause to Step Aside. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, Republican nominee for governor, faces startling allegations in a new report released by CNN on Thursday. The report connects Robinson to several online accounts where Robinson discussed a variety of topics ranging from enjoying transgender porn, peeping on girls as a teenager without their knowledge, and calling Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. a fucking commie bastard. Oh, wow. I didn't know he said all this. Okay. It also connected Robinson to an adult friend finder account and an account on a porn website where he calls himself a black Nazi. You can't make this shit up. Robinson's comments on nude Africa often frequently contained derogatory and racial slurs directed at black, Jewish, and Muslim people, CNN wrote. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson released a video on his X account, but I call it Twitter. Mama named it Twitter, or Pappy named it Twitter. I call it Twitter. On Thursday afternoon, before CNN's report was released addressing the rumors, which he called outrageous lies and a high-tech lynching. He attributes the reports to the campaign of his Democratic opponent, State Attorney General Josh Stein. He affirmed he had no intention of dropping out of the race despite the pressure. On Thursday, Robinson canceled campaign events, according to CBS 17. He was also absent from a J.D. Vance campaign event on Wednesday. Staff was spotted cleaning out an office affiliated with the lieutenant governor, but North Carolina State Senator Phil Berger said that's something that he had been in the works for several weeks. U.S. Senator Ted Budd told News Nation, the allegations are concerning, but we don't have any facts. We're going to wait through the weekend and get everything together. North Carolina State Senator nominee Scott Lasseter called for Robinson to suspend his campaign in a statement. As a proud Republican, I stand for hard work, fiscal responsibility, and liberty, but no one should feel obligated to support a candidate solely due to party affiliation, Lassiter said. Wrong is still wrong, and if the recent allegations against Robertson are true, combined with his previous public rhetoric, I believe it's time for him to step aside. North Carolinians deserve a viable choice in this election. If Robinson were to drop out of the race, but his name kept on the ballot, state law dictates that any votes cast for him would instead go to a replacement candidate chosen by the state's executive committee. Now I'm going to skip down a little bit in this article. He was elected lieutenant governor, his first political office. He has become the first black man to hold that office in 2020. During his time as lieutenant governor, he started the Facts Task Force, dedicated to exposing indoctrination in the classroom and giving parents a way to submit instructional material or library books found in North Carolina schools that parents or community members find objectionable. He has faced criticism for homophobic and anti-transgender comments, including during a podcast appearance in February 2023, as well as accusations that he has perpetuated conspiracy theories about the attack on Paul Pelosi and Michelle Obama's gender. Most recently, during a March 19 speaking engagement at Trinity Baptist Church in Morrisville, he said that seeing churches that fly the rainbow flag makes him sick, end quote. He has been open about his anti-abortion views at various speaking engagements, calling North Carolina a destination state for death on a radio appearance. Critics have pointed out that Robinson's own wife has gotten an abortion, which he has lamented as the hardest decision we ever made, and sadly we made the wrong decision. In recent months, he has softened, publicly stating his support for the abortion law as it's on the books, a 12-week limitation. Talking Points Media combed through nearly a decade of social media activity, calling him a Facebook brawler who rails against gays, blacks, and Jews, citing posts where he discusses anti-Semitic conspiracy theories like globalism and the New World Order. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. But Keith Boykin said it best on Twitter. Mark Robinson is exactly the type of black person Republicans love. A black person who hates black people. He and Trump want to distract voters with side issues because they have no plans on inflation, jobs, wages, healthcare, education, or housing. End tweet. Woo! No lies told. Now get this. This mofo is out still campaigning with, guess what? Are you ready? A whole Trump and Melania life-size cutout standing behind him. And all I have to say is, Jesus be common sense and a moral compass for the unhinged, morally bankrupt Republican Party. Anyone with common sense would drop out at this point. Simply of sheer embarrassment. Enough said. In global news, El Presidente, Biden spoke at the UN in his final UN address and was quoted as saying, "There is so much more I want to get done," end quote. And I won't expound further because I don't want to cry. In other white people do the darndest thing news, school hadn't been open a whole month. When guess what? Drum roll, please. A 13-year-old used the gun his father brought him as a holiday present to shoot up a school in Georgia. Please note, the FBI and local law enforcement questioned the 13-year-old months before the school shooting about threats he had made, and his father still bought him the gun as a gift. His father needs to be under the jail too. Parents need to be responsible for their kids' actions. You birthed and raised them. When will America realize it has a white supremacist problem? And that is now a white incel problem. When America, with 3 Ks, realizes that the root of its problem has always been and will forever be right-wing extremist terrorism enacted by white men and white women, then we can get somewhere as a country. Until then, you idiots keep sending the kids y'all claim to love to school to be shot in the head. Good luck. This is why I'm not having no kids, because if I send my kid to school and they get shot, baby, it will be bombs over Baghdad for a lot of folks. I'm just saying. In South American news, from August 30th to October 8th, Brazil's Supreme Federal Court Judge, Moraes, imposed a block of Twitter in Brazil after Elon Musk did not meet legal obligations during a crackdown on disinformation. The tension grew as Musk refused to block accounts tied to former President Jair Bolsonaro. Musk responded by accusing Moraes of undermining democracy. Some good news. Biden made history again, per usual, by appointing his 12th LGBT federal judge, breaking an Obama-era record, which is technically Biden's record too because he was Obama's vice president. This new appointment is on top of the dozens of black judges he already appointed. The man's whole presidency is historical, and you idiots hate him. Why do y'all hate my president? Lord, I don't want to cry. He is a good man, Savannah. He is a decent man, Savannah. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Y'all have gotten so content with evil and corruption that you can't see when someone is purely and solely good. I call it the Michael Jackson complex. God gave the world someone so pure and ordained. Y'all couldn't believe it, so y'all built him up to break him down. Same shit with Biden. Fun fact, Biden has gone to church more times than any other president in history. Trump golfed more times than any other president in history. Let that sink in. More good news. The stock market, once again, for the 40th time this year, hit an all-time record high. Thank you, Mr. President. I will never forgive y'all for throwing this man under the bus. Never, ever. Love Kamala, but no. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Biden is a fixer, a true gladiator. He is deserving and earned a second term. You bastards figuratively killed my president, and that is a South Park reference for all you millennials out there. Even better news, we need it given the amount of sorcery going on in politics. The Clinton Foundation held their annual event, and former President Bill Clinton surprised President Biden with the Clinton Global Citizen Award. In Biden's acceptance speech, he got emotional and said, "Hillary, thank you personally for the way you have helped me, the way you've spoken up for me with such passion. I can't tell you. You can ask Jill. Anyway, I love you. I love you." End quote. Mr. President, I love you. And Secretary Clinton, I love you more. And it's not many people I love more than Biden. Biden and Hillary are the underdogs, truly the soul of this nation. And I wish we as a country have served them as they have served us so dutifully for several decades. Job well done, President Clinton. That award was indeed just. My favorite good news story, Jimmy Carter just had his 100th birthday. Wow, as y'all know, Jimmy is one of my favorite presidents, and he's top 5 and he ain't 5. Y'all played him like y'all played Biden, only shooting yourself in the foot. Like Biden, Jimmy is the most decent guy we ever had in the White House. More decent than Biden, and he's hard to beat. I'm elated that he made it to his 100th birthday and that he was able to fulfill his dream of living long enough to vote for Kamala. And that is all I'm going to say before I cry. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Speaking of birthdays, Kamala turned 60 last Sunday. And you know she black because she doesn't look a day over 40. Happy birthday, Madam President. Madam Vice President. Madam Vice President-elect or Madam President-elect. Yeah, I like that. It has a nice ring to it. Even better news. In the last 80 plus days since becoming the Democratic nominee, Harris has raised, are you ready for this? $1 billion. That is billion with a big B. And she can single-handedly thank black women and her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Some more good news. Trump said if he loses, he will not run again. and he and his family will move out of America. Well, don't tempt us with a good time. America, you know what to do. And if you don't, Election Day is November 15th. Some fantastic news. My teams are totally better than yours. My Bronx Bombers are going to the World Series, and the Mets lost to the Dodgers. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. And most importantly, the New York Liberty won their first championship title. I'm a diehard Liberty fan, and I can't believe they haven't won one yet. Like they had Witherspoon, Becky Hammond, and so many others back in the day, but I'm glad they finally got one. Now, somebody throw this Bronx girl some Yankee tickets, because Yankees, your prices are way too high. You need to cut it. Or at least give Bronx natives a discount. Damn. I can't categorize it as good news because, well, you'll see why. Or can I? Well, I'll call it in some indifferent news. There was another attempt on Trump's life. Apparently, a man with a gun was too close for comfort by Trump's golf course in Florida. He didn't actually take a shot, but he poked his rifle through the perimeter of Trump's golf course, but Trump was not in the line of sight. He pleaded not guilty. Nobody in the world cared once again, and the defendant had this to say, and I quote, "Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you." According to the letter filed by prosecutors, "I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster," end quote, according to The Hill. Fun fact, the Florida U.S. attorney that is investigating the assassination attempt is, drum roll please, you guessed it, Haitian American. I hope he finds that there was no assassination attempt at all. Hashtag karma. Want to know my opinion on it? Of course you do. That is why you are here, right? Or you are a lurking ass op. And if you felt that in your chest, you know why. Anyway, my sentiments are again the same as the last assassination attempt. The chickens came home to roost. And you reap the hateful rhetoric that you spew. Needless to say, I don't give a fuck. Next story. Here's a tweet. We've reached the time where Trump could get shot on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. End tweet. Basically, someone else tweeted, "This is the third assassination if you count the debate." And Another tweet stated, "Be careful, Trump. Too many of these assassination attempts and people will become numb to them, like school shootings." Well, another tweet stated, "Why would I want a president that's always getting shot at?" End tweet. Questions that need answers. Please note, Mar-a-Lago, Trump's home is, wait for it, drum roll please, a gun-free zone. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we found out that Kamala's house, aka the vice president's mansion, is not a gun-free zone. Kamala said, "Pull up with that dumb shit and you will fuck around and find out." Because she carries. The former president that touts gun deregulation does not feel the same. What a hypocrite Trump is. But we already knew that. Oh, and the assassination attempt that took place happened next to a place called Gun Club Estates. You can't make this shit up, honey. Honorable mention, the Philadelphia Tribune put Project 2025 and Trump on the front page in their newspaper. And that is journalism. The subheadline reads, and I quote, "Top 10 proposals that could impact Black Americans in Republican agenda for the new U.S. president." Enough said. Another honorable mention, Thelma Mother Shed Ware of the school integrating Little Rock 9 died at age 83. Thank you for your service, ma'am. Elizabeth Francis, the oldest person in the U.S., has died in Houston at age 115. And yes, she was a Black woman. She lived through 20 presidents, the Titanic, World War I and II, MLK Jr.'s assassination, and so much more. Rest in peace, Elizabeth. Ethel Kennedy, the widow of RFK, died. I can't believe it. She held on for so long. Think about it. Jackie O died decades ago. I hope she got to vote for Kamala before she died, and I hope she cursed her raggedy son, RFK Jr., the fuck out. The matriarch of the Kennedy family died at age 96. Rest in peace to her. She single-handedly kept her husband's memory alive and raised 11 kids alone after her husband was assassinated right in front of her. Now that's public service. President Biden, Obama, and Clinton all attended her funeral. Now here are all the things I did not get to. The New York Times editorial board finally endorsed Kamala. They stated that regarding Trump, it is, and I quote, hard to imagine a candidate more unworthy. You think? Y'all jackasses the ones that propelled him to the White House in the first fucking place. With your fixation on Hillary's emails, you bastards are the problem. Shut up. The New York Times also previously called Kamala confident, principled, and presidential at the DNC and stated that, I quote, that she is the only patriotic choice for president, end quote. Enough said. Additionally, they stated, and I quote, as a dedicated public servant who has demonstrated care, competence, and an unwavering commitment to the Constitution, Kamala Harris stands alone in this race, end quote. Well, duh. The New Yorker also endorsed Kamala and put her on their October 7th cover, and I love the imagery they created. Check it out. Speaking of covers, Kamala also graced the cover of the one and only Vogue, darling. Looking as fabulous and presidential as ever, I am definitely buying and framing a copy, and I don't even buy magazines. I was a newspaper major in college. We don't do that. Oprah also endorsed Kamala, and the GOP was super angry about this. And I don't know why, because Oprah has been many things over the course of the last few decades, but a Republican ain't never been one. Bye. 88 business leaders also endorsed Kamala. Basically, everyone from Mark Cuban to, drumroll please, James Murdoch. Yes, Fox News James Murdoch. Hell keeps freezing over and pigs are flying, honey. Because not one Fortune 100 CEO is supporting Trump. Well, he's a failed businessman that has filed bankruptcy several times and almost bankrupted and sold the country's secrets to the highest bidder. So that tracks. Also, the head of Goldman Sachs stated Kamala's policies are better for business. So there is that. Lastly, over 200 Bush, McCain, and Romney former staffers have all endorsed Kamala. Hell, even Bill Nye the Science Guy endorsed Kamala for president. But it is evident that a lot of y'all didn't watch him growing up. The pandemic proved that. Anyway, Giuliani's daughter, Caroline, also endorsed Kamala. She said, and I quote, Donald Trump took my dad from me. Please don't let him take our country too, end quote. Hell has truly frozen over. Oh wait, one more thing. Ben & Jerry's co-founders have created a limited edition ice cream flavor in support of Kamala's campaign entitled Kamala's Coconut Jubilee. Move On is raffling off free signed pints as part of a new scoop, the voter tour of swing states. Ben & Jerry are always on the right side of history. I love it. Bill Gates also donated $50 million to Kamala's campaign. Apparently, there was also a hurricane that hit several states recently. Kamala went and handed out food to impacted families. Meanwhile, folks were on Twitter asking for the president and the vice president, whom are both acting and doing their jobs despite 82 Republicans voting to shut down the government just days before the hurricane, which would have been detrimental to the aid to the states. However, someone on Twitter said it best. For all of y'all Republicans in those states, what happened to small government and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps? You hypocrites. Help yourself, buddy. You don't need FEMA and big government stepping in to help and cut the check, right? Exactly. Keep that energy. Y'all only believe in welfare and handouts when it benefits you, and that is the problem.